Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are back with another Sims build, and today I thought it'd be fun if we come in and we make a trailer for a teen mum. So in the lore I've kind of created for her, I imagine she's still in high school, she's very early in her pregnancy, she's just found out, she's told her parents and it didn't kind of go the way she expected. They kind of said to her, you're still young and maybe you're not responsible enough, but they think that she should stay in school, stick out schooling, and it's just not the right time. But the girl is kind of like, actually, this is my baby, I'm determined to do this, I think I can keep up with schoolwork and raise a child. So the parents, they kind of just agree to disagree, and the parents kind of say, it's your life, it's up to you what you do, but if you are determined to do this, then unfortunately you won't be doing it under our roof. So she has to move out. I picture she finds this maybe a trailer online somewhere, it's cheap, it's a little bit run down, but it's all she can afford. Maybe she's got like a part-time job, so she decides to go for it and buy it. So I kind of wanted it to be a little bit small, but it does have 2 bedrooms, so that as like the baby grows up, she doesn't have to move out straight away. She kind of has some lee room in how it kind of works out. At first I was going to do like a kitchen at the front and then a bedroom and a bathroom at the back, but then I was like, actually I think I do need 2 bedrooms, so that kitchen does get converted into a bedroom, and then we kind of fit the kitchen in like the alleyway there where I've just put the bathroom door. So in my view, you can all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a trailer is what a static caravan is to the UK, I think, but I don't think there's like as much stigma towards static caravans as there is trailers. I don't know, just from like what I've seen in movies and stuff, I think if someone says they live in a trailer, people don't tend to seem to like that. They kind of think that's a bit like, I don't know. But in the UK, if you said you lived in a static caravan, I feel like people wouldn't bat an eyelid. So I don't know if I'm wrong there, but when I was looking for layouts, I went off a static caravan. I went for one like the older styles, and that's kind of what I've based it on. For the outside, I was deciding what I wanted to do, because like I said, I wanted it to be a bit odd, I wanted it to be a bit run down, but I also kind of wanted it to look as if she tried to make it a home. So I think she'd have probably brought like a few tin of paints just for cheap and painted over some of the old stuff just to give it a new lease of life, just to make it feel not as grotty, I guess. So I found this like purple sliding that I put on the walls, and I just imagine she just painted it maybe. Just gave it a little spruce up. I then removed the door that was kind of like my placeholder when I like trying to figure out the layout, and put in these just basic doors, because in the static caravans in the UK, like the fixtures that come with it are very basic and they're very generic. I think it's so that it can appeal to like a lot of people. So like they tend to just be like plain wood, a lot of creams, nothing like too stylized or nothing too like fancy. And then for the windows, I did add a bay in the front, because static caravans do, pretty much all of the static caravans I think I've seen have a bay window in the front. So we added that, and then I found these windows from, I'm not sure what pack they are, maybe Get Famous? No, I don't think they are, can't remember what they are. And I added those to the side, because I feel like static caravans windows, again, they're very basic, they're just white, they're just square, there's nothing special about them. Oh yeah, there is Get Famous, there we go. They are very generic, and I couldn't really find any like just basic white windows that didn't have a fancy frame, so these were the closest I could come to it. In the bathroom, I just added 2 of the really small windows up above, and then at the back, I added one in the bedroom. And you might think this is a lot of windows for a caravan, but in the UK, the caravans get so hot in the summer, it's literally like torture just being in there for 10 minutes. So you need all of these windows so you can create some sort of breeze, because otherwise it's just like a hot box in there. It's awful. I did give her a deck outside the front of her door, because again, I have to go off static caravans in the UK because I've never really been to a trailer park. I've never been to one in America. My experience of those comes from movies, and so I thought if I do it based off one in the UK, at least have some reference. But the static ones that are kind of in like permanent places, they do have a deck outside. Some of them have like a wraparound deck, a little bit of a garden. So I kind of emulated that at the front, just so she's kind of got a little bit of space. And then coming inside, again, I wanted the decor to be very generic, very cream, and a bit run down. So I found these wooden boards that I put, and then in the bedrooms I literally just put the cream carpet. I did debate about putting this like mankier looking one, because I wanted to reflect like the rundownness of the place, but I couldn't bring myself to do it because I just thought it looked absolutely awful. So yeah, I just put the basic beige one. And then for tiles and stuff, in the bedrooms, I think I end up just doing cream everywhere. Just because, like I said, the wallpaper in these caravans is a little bit dated and it's very muted tones. Like you'd never see like a blue or green really. It's very, I think it's so that most people would walk in and just kind of be neutral to the aesthetic. It's not like, doesn't really go in any direction. In the front bedroom though, I did use this older style wallpaper that has like some mildew or mold growing at the bottom just to show its age. And then I was going to do that again in the back bedroom, but I think I decided in the end just to do the other one. That is like the normal version of it, I think. Oh no, maybe I don't. Maybe I do go in and put that in the back bedroom as well. I do mix it up in the middle though, because I feel like 3 rooms with the same wallpaper is a bit much. So I kind of wanted an older one. So I was looking at these like flowery designs because to me they just kind of give an older aesthetic. But some of them were a bit too much. Like I wanted like dated, but I didn't want it to be like bold or anything. And I was kind of trying to find the balance between the two. And I was finding it quite hard to find a wallpaper that I thought would match. In the end, I just went for this creamy one, I think it is, and it's just kind of very, like, it's got a pattern on it, but it's very muted. It's not like a bold pattern. So yeah, I went with that. In the front, I decided to add in the girls' bedroom. I kind of imagined that she doesn't have too much stuff. She couldn't bring too much with her because obviously if she's come from her house where she's got all her things down into a trailer, and she's not going to have much. So maybe she left in a hurry. She's not on good terms with the parents, so she couldn't get loads of stuff. I imagined that maybe her friend in like workshop in school made her this bed because it kind of looks like it's made out of pallets, so it definitely looks very homemade. And then as her nightstand, she's just got this milk crate or like this fruit crate, and then that lamp on top. I imagine you can pick that up in any supermarket for about £5, so it's nothing too expensive. And then in terms of like dresser and mirror and stuff, I think she'd probably get these from a secondhand shop or maybe a charity shop. So I didn't want them to match. I kind of wanted them to be a bit mismatched, look a bit old, as if they are like definitely secondhand. They've been through it a bit, but she is fine because she's like, you know, I have no choice. I've made this decision, so now I have to like live with it, and I'd rather have old furniture than have stayed in her parents' house. I do try and add some personality though to it. I find these like cute little, I think they're from university, with like the little faces on the plant pots. I really like those. So I added those on. And then I think all rooms come together with a rug. But again, it was hard to try and find one that wasn't brand new, that had some aging. So I think in the end I don't put one because I think I'd rather have it in the living room, and the chances of her finding 2 rugs I felt like was a bit rare. Like, I mean, she probably could, but I just thought, no, we'll just do one in the living room. On top of the dresser, I put a bear because I imagine like her friends, I think her friends are still on board with her. I think her friends are fully supportive, but they're kind of, they know she's a bit down, so maybe they gave her the bear trying to cheer her up, and she's just kind of put it as like on her shelf. Maybe it was a housewarming present. And then on the walls, I imagine she just covered them in posters and stuff because I think she'd have painted them the pink colour just again to try and like spruce up the place, but it hasn't hid everything. Like at the bottom you can see staining, maybe water damage. So I imagine she's come in with some posters and maybe art she's drawn herself, maybe her friends have given her some, and she's just plastered it all around the room, just trying to give it a bit of life, give it like, make it a bit homely because she can't do much, but she can do some. I then added these string lights either side of the window. Again, I think they wouldn't be too expensive to buy, so she could have probably picked them up for cheap. And it just adds a little bit of something to the room. In the kitchen, I went for it to go underneath this window. And it is very small, but then the caravan is very small. So we don't really... She hasn't really got much space, so it literally just has the most basic things in there. I wanted to add in this tiny little fridge because I feel like maybe she couldn't afford a bigger one. But I wasn't sure where to put it so that it didn't disrupt too much space out of the living room. So I kind of just popped it there while I figured out the rest of the layout of the kitchen. And then was hoping that by the time I'd done that, I'd figure out a place for it and I would find somewhere for it to go. In the end, I decided to use the bigger fridge, but like in its rundown version. And then I just like shuffled the door across a bit and put it in that entryway. And I think that's good. I think it is cramped, but I kind of wanted that. I kind of wanted it to be very small in here. You know, it's not the biggest place. She couldn't afford much. But yeah, she's got everything she needs in here. And then in the living room area, again, nothing really matches because I imagine she brought them all from charity shops. Maybe friends and family have given it her at different times. So there's not like one set. So I did give her this sofa. It's got some nice cushions on it. And then again, for the TV unit, I thought maybe this was a bit homemade. It looks a bit old. And then she wouldn't have like a really big TV. She'd just have maybe something small just on top of it. And then a little house plant to make it a little bit more green in here, add some colour. I did want to try and give her a desk because obviously she's still in school. I'm not sure if she's going to go to university yet. We'll have to decide. But I think she'd have somewhere where she can study, and she's just got like an old little computer there. Maybe one of her friends was getting rid of theirs and they were like, look, you can have my old one or something. Maybe she had a little bit of extra money that she saved up from work or something so she could afford that. In the baby's room, I did go a bit full out because I imagine whatever money she had left after buying the caravan, she would have done the baby's room first, make sure the baby has everything they need, and then she would have done like her bedroom second. So I did put in here everything they need. I tried to keep it like neutral colours because I feel like she wouldn't know what the baby is going to be yet because she's too early. So I added in a cot in the corner, and then next to it I added in a changing table. I tried to add in like the bigger pieces before I did like the clutter, just so I know how much room I had left. And then opposite that I added in a bookshelf because I imagine that like each night as the baby's going to sleep she'll read to it. And then I added in a chair because obviously she needs somewhere to sit while she's reading to the baby. I'd have liked to add in a rocking chair, but I don't think I have one. And then I did pull out that mushroom stool because I love it. I really wanted to use it. But I was like, really, realistically, would she have found this in a secondhand store? And I'm thinking no. So unfortunately, I did have to delete that. I come in then just add in a few bits of clutter into the baby's room. So I add in like a little monitor above it and then some shelving because there's not a lot of storage in here. She hasn't got a lot of room. So I feel like she'd have utilised shelves in order to put the baby's stuff on. So above the changing table, there's a shelf with some cloths on it. And then on the other side, in a minute, I do come in. Once I can get the camera right. Sometimes I feel like the camera is awkward trying to position it so you can see into the room without it like dropping too low. But yeah, here I come in, adding in some shelves. They don't match. They don't line up with the other side. But I feel like that's okay in the end because I feel like she would have just put them wherever they could go because she just needs somewhere to put things. So it might not be neat. It might not look the best, but it functions, and that I feel like that's just going to have to do. And then on top of it, I just add in loads of like the babyish clutter. So I add some of these storage compartments, maybe where she keeps like the baby's lotions, like the dummies, like that kind of thing. And then there's these like baskets that have like nappies in and creams and powders. And honestly, I'm not really sure, just like things you'd need for your baby. I'm not sure what you need. But if whatever you need, it's in these baskets, and I do appreciate these. I like these. It's only recently that I realised they were base game. I thought they came with the Parenthood pack. They're not all like specifically for babies. I think these two that I'm putting now on that lower shelf aren't, but the nappies are, and they are in base game. I think it came with the infant update. And yeah, I thought that was really nice that they added those in because I do use those quite a lot, especially the lower ones because I feel like you can just use those in a bedroom as like decor. I do like those. And then coming back around to like the seating area, I thought we'd add in some toys. Although the baby is going to be a baby and won't play with them yet, at some point they're going to, so I just kind of wanted to have them in here now. I did end, to begin with, I shrank down the toy chest because I wanted it to go under the window and it wouldn't fit. I do later fix that. But for now, that is what I've done. And then I wanted to add in a rug just because I thought it'd look cute in the corner. And then a little light on the window because sometimes you don't want the big light on. I mean, I don't. I never want the big light on. I always use little lamps and stuff. And then we do come back and add some bits, but let's go moving on to the bathroom. In here, again, this is just going to be the suite that comes with the caravan. Nothing has been updated since it was made. It's all very generic. It's all cream, I believe, and it's just very basic. The tub is probably not that, like, it's not a fancy one. The toilet, again, looks a bit old. The sink, it's probably just whatever was on sale when they were making the caravan went in here. And it hasn't been updated. And I feel like this caravan is probably like 20, 30 years old maybe. So yeah, it's all could do with the spruce up. Let's put it that way. And then above the sink I added in a mirror. And then just a little light above the sink and then above the bath there. I think that we had to add in a bath also because, you know, with the toddlers they can't bathing showers, so that fits that in as well. And also in most caravans I've been to, unless they have two bathrooms, they always have a Bath, I believe. To be honest, I've not been to many, but I've been to a couple. And then I added in some more clutter, so a dressing gown for her there, and then some toilet roll next to the toilet. And again, the usual shower caddy in the shower. And then I think she'd have some cleaning supplies, but obviously she doesn't have anywhere to put them because she doesn't have like a cupboard or anything. So I thought they'd just go in the bathroom, kind of out of sight, out of mind. Next to the sink, I added in a hand towel. And then above the toilet, I wanted to add a picture. I imagine she maybe has like an inspirational quote. I think in the end I go for, this picture of a house. And maybe as she's brushing her teeth each day, she's like looking at it and like that's manifesting her dream house or something. And she's like, right, we are going to get here. One day I will own like a nice house with a nice garden where the baby can play outside. It's got a jungle gym. So yeah, she just looks at it every day. And then maybe not as hygienic as you would like, but next to the toilet I added in like that stack, and it's just like a box of hair supplies. So maybe she gets ready in the bathroom, so it's got a hair dryer and stuff, but she doesn't really have a counter, so it just has to fit down there where it can go. And then in the living room I added one of the baby mats, and then I also added one in the bedroom, but I do believe I moved that because I thought it looked a bit too much like a dog bed. And I don't know, it was just making me feel weird, so I got rid of that one in the end. I was trying to find some curtains to go in here, and if you've watched my videos before, you know curtains are the bane of my existence in The Sims. I feel like they just don't fit properly. And for this one I wanted older curtains, because curtains are quite expensive, so I don't think she would have money to recurtain the whole caravan, so I think she'd just have whatever came. And I initially put these ones out. I'm not sure what pack they're from, Eco Living I think. And then I was looking at them and I was like, I think these are a bit like they look too new and they just weren't fitting it. So I was like having a flick through trying to find some others that would fit. And then in the end I do pull out these ones, and I was contemplating having these. I did think they looked older and were more likely to be what came with it, but then when I put them on this second window I was like, now they look weird, like they're shorter, they don't fit the window properly, and I was having a nightmare. Luckily I did find these ones in the end, and these fit, and I was like, right, let's just put them everywhere. They fit, like they seem to fit most windows, so I just put the same curtains everywhere. And I do think that's what it'd be like in a caravan. I don't think they'd have like special curtains for your kitchen and then different ones for your bedroom. I think, like with the bathroom, they'd probably buy them in bulk and they would just put them everywhere. I was trying to shuffle some stuff in the kids' bedroom so that they didn't clip, and then this is where I decided to move the toy box over. I kind of think it should just be under the window on its own, because I did tuck the blocks behind, but I was like, you're not going to be able to use the blocks, so I kind of just put them just in the next to the crib so that you can actually use them functionally. I decided not to add curtains to the bathroom, mainly because I couldn't get them to fit, but also I feel like the windows are high, so you don't necessarily need them. Nobody is going to be looking in there. And then I just added some blinds to the windows in the kitchen. Next to the TV, I added in some builds because I feel like she could be behind on her builds, especially since she's just bought the caravan. Maybe that took up all her money, so she's kind of got to save a little bit. So she's a few payments behind. I added some books to her nightstand because, again, she's a student. She's in school still, so I think she'd probably study each night. And then I just wanted to add some more clutter to her house or to her room. I think it would be a little bit messy in here because it is very small. So she doesn't have that much space to put things. So I think because the stuff she has, I think it would be like exploding out everywhere. So I put a few stacks of clothes. I put like a study set by her living room sofa as if she's been late night studying. And then in here I just pulled out some makeup bits, some perfume, some nail varnishes, just basic stuff you'd have. You know, I think because she is in like this little bit of a rundown place, maybe she doesn't want, like she's told her closest friends, but she doesn't want everyone at school to know like her situation. So she's trying to be keeping up appearances. So I think she'd still be trying to look nice, and then she'll feel nice, so that it kind of takes you out of where you are. Because I think sometimes if she lives in this like a little bit rundown place and then she doesn't start like taking care of her appearance and stuff, she could get quite low. But I think if she kept up appearances and like made herself feel good on the outside, I think she'll start feeling good on the inside. So I just come up and I just add them all onto the top of her dresser. I completely fill it, I think, in the end, with loads of clutter like makeup brushes, different coloured nail varnishes. I keep the bear from her friend because I think that's cute that they've done that for her, so I do keep that. I then had this second tray that's just got like more makeup brushes in, and yeah, I just ransacked it full of different pieces of clutter, and I love how it looks in the end. Like, I just love loads of clutter, and I think this was one of the perfect builds for it. I then found this like little set of, I think it's like nail clippers and like a comb for the baby, so I came in and added that to the shelf. I had to jig a few things around just to make it fit and to stop it from bloody hovering. I feel like that's my life. Everything just hovers in The Sims. And then I added some like piles of clothes because she's probably behind on laundry, you know. She's had a stressful time, so she's I think we can give her that little leeway of not being completely on top of everything. And then I think that is pretty much done inside now. I think maybe I add in a couple more bits of clutter. But again, I wanted her to have like clutter as in it's homely, but I didn't think she'd have too much money for loads of stuff. So I don't add loads of stuff to the walls. I don't add loads of art and stuff. I think it's mostly the clutter comes from her bringing it from her house and not having room in her new trailer for it. So it's more just bits she doesn't have a home for that are kind of spilling out onto the sides. I added in a wash basket. In her caravan she doesn't have any laundry stuff, but I do fix that when we go outside and do her garden, so she does end up with having somewhere to wash her clothes. And then I think now I'm kind of looking for a backpack because I wanted to add some school supplies, because I think maybe in part of like her parents kicking her out, she's like determined to show them that they were wrong, that she can do it by herself. So I think she'd be very studious. So I've added in the books by the sofa. I then added in the files in front of her dresser there, and then I wanted to add in her school bag. I think she would, maybe her grades even improve. Maybe she was like a C before because she wasn't really bothered, but now she's like got this new lease of life. She's like, I'm going to show them that I can do this, and she's maybe trying to up her grade. So she's got a bit of time before the baby comes, so maybe she's trying to get ahead in classes, so then when the baby comes she can like relax. I don't really know how it works being a teen mum. We just have to make this up sometimes. I then decided, well, I realised that my lot was way too big, so I kind of moved it over a little bit because I don't think these trailer parks come, or these caravans come with a lot of space. There's normally like, they're kind of stacked on top of each other. You have like a little bit of a garden, but nothing much. And I kind of imagine this to be part of like a bigger complex. I don't think she'd be on her own. I think she would be in with a lot of other people. And when in the UK anyway, on these like static caravan sites, you can get some sort of a garden going. You can like put chairs out. Like I said, some of them have wraparound porches. You know, people live here. Like I think you can only live in them like 12 months out of a year, so you have to move out for 2 months. But other than that, people live in them full time. So they have made them like their house. It is their house. So they've added their own personality. So I decided that maybe she'd planted some plants in front of the window, or maybe they were already there, and she's just kind of maintaining them a little bit just to add some greenery, so it wasn't like as like depressing as it was before. I wanted to add in some kind of border to it so that it kind of looked a bit more manicured, as if, because in the UK on these caravan sites they are very maintained. They are very symmetrical. Like all the houses, all the caravans look pretty much the same. There's like some variation, but the layouts are the same. Like you'll go into the lots and pretty much, unless like the person has added their own personality, all the caravans are generally kind of uniform. So I think it would be in a flower bed to contain it. So I added in like a little border and then just some flowers. I feel like she could have got some seeds from the shop. You know, they're not that expensive to pick up some seeds, and maybe she just threw them all in there and hoped that some would take. And now she's got this lovely flower bed going on. For the decking, I wanted it to kind of look like floorboards, like actual like rough decking. So I added the flooring that basically is kind of the only one that looks like worn floorboards. And then I wanted a bench out here for her. And again, I found this one. I think it's from City Living. And some of the swatches look painted. So maybe it was here before. And then she had some paint left over from her renovations inside. And she's just decided to come in, spruce it up a little bit. So it's just, again, adds a little bit of personality to the build. And then I didn't want to add too much out here, but I did add a little mat for the baby because maybe they kind of don't want to be inside a lot. You know, it's quite small in there, it's quite cramped. So maybe when the weather is nice, she tries to bring them outside and they can sit on the deck, you know, watch the world go by. And then in this corner here, I did decide to give her her own kind of garden. I imagine she probably fenced it off. Like when on like each lot of the caravan, I imagine they have like an unofficial garden. It's like the grass next to the caravan is kind of seen as theirs. Everyone's just like, it's next to mine. I'm just going to take it, but it's not official. So at any point the caravan people could come in and could say, you know, can you move that stuff? It's not yours. But pretty much everybody's claimed their little spot, and the caravan people just don't bat an eyelid. In this case, I did fence it in just because, you know, we have a baby. But I imagine this fence is temporary. Maybe it's just staked in the ground. So if they do come round and they're like, look, you can't have this fence here anymore or whatever, she can just remove it and there's no damage done. I gave her some places she could wash her clothes, because I feel like going to the laundromat, it can be quite expensive, you know. It'll add up over time, and she just doesn't have that much disposable income, if any, to be spending, even if it's just like £4 a week, you know, it adds up. So I think she would have, she'd have to wash it herself. I've given her a little bucket so she can do that, and then just a line, a washing line. I then gave her a paddling pool for the kid. Again, I don't think these things would be expensive. She could probably pick them up at second-hand shops, so I don't think it's too ridiculous that she'd have them. And then I swap out the seats for a little picnic bench, and then I give her a picnic basket, because I imagine that when the baby's a bit older, you know, she's trying to get out of the house, they go to the parks for picnics, they kind of just get out a lot. So I gave her that so she could do that. And then in this little walkway here, I added in some of the planters. These are the kind of run down ones, you know, to match the aesthetic of the res. And I imagine that she kind of tries to grow her own fruit and vegetables a little bit, just to take the extra, like, just to save a little bit of money on groceries. So she can't do much, but if she can do it, she'll just save a little bit. Maybe she can just grow carrots and potatoes. And yeah, I added in a bin outside, and then also a post box. I then decided to come in and add a few tufts of grass just around the outskirts of her garden, as if, you know, it is a little bit overgrown. Maybe she can't keep on top of it 100%, so we have these like little bits of grass that are still growing. Again, this lot is in like a desert place, so there wouldn't be that much greenery, but I wanted to add like a little bit, just to kind of show, you know, that it's it's been a minute since anybody has, maybe it's like, yeah, it's just not being looked after the best. But it says like a little bit of grass overgrown there. And then I think that's pretty much for outside. I think I then just come in and add some dirt paths, just so, like, just kind of to show some wear, like under the wash line, because, you know, as she's washing the clothes, the water will be splashing, and then when they're on the line, the water will be dripping. So I feel like it's kind of got a bit muddy. And then the same with the pool, and where you've been sitting with your feet underneath the chair, I think you'd like scuff up the ground a bit. So I just added in a tiny amount of dirt. I probably went in a bit heavy. I probably should have done it on like a smoother setting, because it is and then have to come back in and like try and soften it up a bit. But yeah, that is the end of this build, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'll just do you like a little tour so you can kind of see the finished version. I had a lot of fun with this. I have a lot of fun with these builds where I can like make up a story to them. Like, I don't know, I like to, in my head, I build by picturing the sim, and then I build the house for the sim. So if someone's like, build a family house, I struggle with that unless they say what sort of family is living in that house. So I like to create like lore and a lot of backstory behind my builds. I think that it gives you a direction to go in, and I think I just run away with it and I have a really good time. If there's any builds you want me to do, or like any themes, feel free to comment below and I will try and get to them. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. Bye!